Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. So today we are continuing the geometry series of the Math Madness videos, and so we are going to be looking at the volume of rectangular prisms. So don't forget that if you have any other content that you want to see a video of, leave it in the comments. And also don't forget that I do make a mistake for my students to identify as extra credit. So let's get started. Okay, so we are looking at the volume of rectangular prisms. There's my YouTube channel name, and then that is also my Instagram that you can send me messages or also keep up with when I have posted videos and all of that. So, volume means how much can fit inside of a box or a figure. So that's all the inside. So remember, perimeter is around. Then we've also looked at surface area, and so that's the area of all of the faces. And then we've also looked at area, and that's just the face, or what's the inside of the face. So now we're looking at a three-dimensional figure and how much can go inside of that. So the formula, and I don't know why capitalized and all that stuff, so you will see a capital V, length times width times height. So you're going to use the four-step method to find the volume of the rectangular prism. So if you've seen my area of quadrilaterals and my area of triangles video, you know that we write the formula, then we plug into the formula, and then we solve the formula, write it with the units, and then circle our answer. So one thing I kind of want to talk about and see if you, or kind of show you how it connects with area. So if you remember from our quadrilaterals formula, we had A equals length times width, or even base times height. You could have also wrote this formula as volume is the area of the base times the height. So you could have had base times height times the height. And then we also have length times width times the height. So don't forget that you're just really adding another dimension to this figure. So we've already found the area of triangles and we found the area of quadrilaterals. So no matter really what the base of the shape is, you're going to have the base times the area of the base times the height of the figure. But with rectangular prisms, the big important formula is length times width times height. So here's our first example. Ignore all these little numbers on the inside. This is just the best figure I could find to post to this document. So we have find the volume of the rectangular prism. So don't forget our formula, so we've got to write our formula. V equals length times width times height. So let's start plugging in. We don't know the volume because that's what we're trying to find. So then we have the length. Now, if I was looking at this rectangle here, the length could be here. But remember, the commutative property of multiplication says it doesn't really matter which order you multiply, you're still going to get the same product. So a lot of my students have a hard time identifying, okay, which one's the length or width, because I do know that top of the shape to the bottom of the shape is the height. So I always say, unless they say, hey, this is the length, hey, this is the width, or you're finding the length, finding the width, I'm going to call this the length, this is the width. This is how wide the shape is. So my length is 10. No sign means multiplication. Remember to use that dot for multiplication, because if you use an X, it might be mistaken as a variable. So then I have the width, which is 2, times the height, which is 5. So don't forget, top to bottom is your height, so 5. So then we're just going to multiply. So 10 times 2 is 20, and then 20 times 5 is 100. Now this is where it also gets a little different from area. We are multiplying 3 different measurements here. So in area we were multiplying 2. So now when we write our units, we have to have it as cubed because that's everything on the inside. So volume is always cubed. And then we're going to circle our answer. Okay, so here is another rectangular prism. So I'm finding the volume. So V equals length times width times height. So it says find the volume of of the rectangular prism. I don't know what that says H. But find the volume of the rectangular prism. So we're going to start plugging in our measurements. So we have the length, which is 8. No sign means multiplication. Times the width. Times the height. And don't forget, height is top to bottom. I don't know why I wrote W. So that's supposed to be a 6. So we have 8 times 6 times 2. So then 8 times 6 is 48. And then 48 times 2 is 96. Don't forget our units is inches. We did multiply 3 different measurements, so it is cubed. Circle your answer. Okay, so for this one, they have actually wrote it out. Hey, this is the length, this is the width, this is the height. So we're finding the volume. Write your formula, and then you can also write it not cursive and just write length times width times height. So a lot of my students are like, I can't make that curly QL. Well, it's okay to write that one as well. So let's plug in. So now they tell me what my length is, so I'm definitely going to plug in 5 where I see the length. Then I have multiplied by the width, which is 4 times the height, which is 2. So now we're just going to solve. So 5 times 4 is 20, and 20 times 2 is 40. And then our units is centimeters squared. Okay, our last example is a word problem. An aquarium is shaped like a rectangular prism. So right there it tells us rectangular prism is our shape. So the prism is 25.5 inches long, 13.5 inches wide, and 16 inches deep. What is the volume of the aquarium? Sorry, guys. So what is the volume of the aquarium? Because up here it tells us aquarium. So this is kind of saying, okay, how much water am I going to put in this aquarium? How much water can I use to fill it? So that's why it's so important to know how to find volume, because then you know how much water or how much substance can go inside of that. So we're going to use our same formula because it tells us that it is a rectangular prism. Okay, so we're using the base of the rectangle formula times the height. So, and it also tells us, hey, it's 25.5 inches long, 13.5 inches wide, and 16.5 inches deep. So now, sometimes that deep throws my students off. That is, think about a pool. When you're looking at the depth of a pool, you're looking at how far you can go down. So then that right there shows you the height, the top of the figure to the bottom of the figure, the top of the pool to the bottom of the pool. So this will be my height. Deep is always height. So let's plug in my information. So I have 25.5 times 13.5 times 16. So 25.5 times 13.5. I already kind of worked this out, and remember my students at home, you can use a calculator on volume, or you can come off to the side and multiply decimals. There's a video on multiplying decimals, because you can change that 1/2 to 0.5 or 5/10. So that would be 344 or 344 and 25 hundredths. Then times 16 is 5,508. So then here is our units, so inches. And then don't forget the volume is cubed, so you need the little 3 on your units. A lot of my students like to put it here on my number, and I'm like, no, that means you're gonna multiply 5,508 by itself 3 times. So it's so important to put that unit or that 3 on your units, not before it, after it. And then circle your answer. And since it's a word problem, you can always come to the side and say the volume of the aquarium is 5,508 inches, or cubic inches is how you would rate that. So cubic inches. Thank y'all for watching. I hope that this helps you with your assignments at home while you're working. And don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to hit that red subscribe button so that you can be notified whenever I upload videos to help. And then I also have done a few family videos, so just for activities and to spread a little cheer in this gloomy time, what it feels like. So I hope that y'all enjoyed it, and we will see you next time. Bye, y'all.